Today, the footballing world and beyond said goodbye to Sir Bobby Charlton. Thousands of supporters have paid their final tributes to Sir Bobby Charlton at a funeral held here in the centre of Manchester, at a private service attended by up to 1,000 people, in fact, even though they were the people that knew him closest. They came here to extend their gratitude for what he gave to Manchester United, what he gave to England, and what he leaves behind, of course, which is an incredible legacy. He was a World Cup winner, a European Cup winner, a Ballon d'Or winner, and won the hearts, of course, of Manchester United fans. He was brought up in the northeast, but very much made the northwest his home. We've seen thousands of fans lining the streets today to pay their final respects as the cortege made its way from Old Trafford here to the Manchester Cathedral, where players from the past and present were in attendance. He was one of England football's greats. He was a Manchester United legend. He was also a husband, a brother, a father and a grandfather. And the family members just a short time ago left Manchester Cathedral to attend a private wake at Old Trafford. Well, Sir Bobby Charlton a little earlier left Old Trafford for the final time, and as we mentioned, the cortege was followed along the route by thousands of fans with great applause, and the many here just seeing Sir Bobby Charlton's coffin being laid back into the hearse here, which was silent as the fans got their chance to pay their final respects and bid farewell to a hero of the game. And many came here today and stopped to speak to us as well about how they remembered him. Of course, one of his closest friends, Sir Alex Ferguson, was also in attendance, and the president of the FA, Prince William, the future King of England, was in attendance, along with a lot more football royalty as well. Sir Alex Ferguson, who was in attendance at the United game at the weekend, very much making sure he was here today to listen to very special tributes inside this service, and we could hear from him now.
Very sombre, and a wonderful tribute from his grandson. I thought it was fantastic. It's not easy to go up there and speak, and the speakers did a great job, but he was a fantastic man. I'm at United because of Bobby Charlton, there's no question about that.
Sir Alex, you're synonymous with Manchester United, so is Sir Bobby. What aura did he have when you first arrived at the club?
Well, right from the day I came, he supported me 100% all the way. He was totally behind me in everything we try to do in terms of youth. And as I said, I'm here because of Bobby Charlton.
I think it was a lovely send-off for a great man. Obviously, with all these things, they're always quite emotive and you know, a lot of affection, a lot of emotion. But a wonderful turnout. You know, people have come from all over the world to pay their respects, and I felt privileged to be here.
Why was he such a towering figure in the game beyond Old Trafford?
Well, you could go back probably to Bobby Charlton's career, and there are so many things, aren't there, that have come together. Obviously, surviving the air crashes was an extraordinary thing. To then have the career that he did, winning a World Cup with England, so much success with Manchester United, the fact that he broke, you know, the best goal scorer for Manchester United for a long time, likewise with England. So there's so much on the pitch, but it was also off the pitch with him, really, that he was so generous and kind, as I just said. But I think overall, though, you can perhaps sum him up by the fact that I certainly remember him in my younger days. You could go anywhere in the world, even when they didn't speak English, and they'd know two words or two names, and they would be Bobby Charlton, which not only speaks volumes for the fame and his brilliance on the pitch, but also how much respect he had right around the world.
Peter, can you just a fitting tribute to a huge figure in English football and Manchester life?
Yeah, no, it was very fitting. It was a beautiful service, and his grandson stood up, spoke very fondly of him, and you know, spoke of him as a family man, which of course is something we don't know. David Gill spoke of him you know, a more of a Manchester United person that we know of, but it was beautiful, it was fitting, yeah. It's a beautiful service.
Prior to this, I was at Old Trafford, and people were just talking. He was a fabric, part of the fabric of the life at Old Trafford at Manchester United.
No, I think he was more than that. I think he's probably the most important person in Manchester United's history. What he's taking part in creating is incredible. You know, from the Munich disaster, you know, surviving that, losing, you know, 8 of his teammates and so many other people in that, and then taking part in the rebuild at the football club, and you know, within literally no time they were on top of Europe, and he played a very, very big part of that. And of course, as a director as well for the football club, you know, his influence was incredible. He was a guy who came up with Alex Ferguson as the next manager, and also the way that he supported him through, you know, he's there. Yeah. Supported the man through the first difficult couple of years, and just knew that was the right person, and you know, the rest is history. And all of that, you know, his footprint is there, and it's just you know, it's really sad, but it's a way we all have to go. But I've sort of chosen to see this as a beautiful day. You know, I'm very proud to have the opportunity to be here and you know, say goodbye and be part of this last day for Bobby Charlton.
Steve, a sad day, but also a day just to remember an incredible man, celebrate a wonderful life.
Yeah, celebrate a wonderful life, and as you can see by the turnout, that we ever need reminded what a great player Sir Bobby was, but I think more importantly, what's pretty evident with everybody is what a great man he was too. He'd be sadly missed. He was class in everything he done.
Can you give us a sense of what the service was like? The family wanted it as a private affair, quite rightly. What was the service like?
The speakers who spoke, and it was top class, to be perfectly honest, and great service and a great send-off to him.
Steve, prior to this, I was down at Old Trafford when the cortege came, and I spoke to a couple of people, and they said the reason they love Sir Bobby, they were more interested in what they had to say than talking about himself. It was incredible, all the people saying that down Old Trafford.
I think that was the biggest strength of his. It was never about his achievements. He was so humble for somebody who was so great and so talented, and I think that's the legacy he leaves behind of, you know, a family man, quiet at heart really, but obviously blessed with a wonderful ability to play football.
And one of the greatest.
The greatest.
Great guy. Well, obviously the obvious is he will be greatly missed, but I can only thank him for the day I arrived. He stood by me and gave me great support, even though I was there trying to steal that jersey off him and playing the team every week, but he wasn't bothered about that. He was Manchester United through and through.
What would you say was his greatest achievement, and how will he be remembered?
I can't pick out a greatest achievement, Haley. There's that many. I was telling somebody else when we used to go abroad and people used to say, where are you from? We said Manchester. And right away they'd say Bobby Charlton. Even though we had George Best and Dennis and other great players over the years, it was always Bobby Charlton. And I don't know how they knew him, because back then there was very few games on telly, and most people didn't have a television either. But it's sad, but he was great.
Michael, I spoke to Peter Schmeichel, Steve Bruce, that both came out almost with tears in their eyes, just saying lovely service, but also just celebrating the life. What were your feelings on that service?
Yeah, it's obviously very mixed emotions. I think celebration is a lot of it. Very sad as well, of course. And you know, a lot of people know Sir Bobby for the football and what he's achieved, and an incredible football, what he's done for Manchester United, what he's done for England. But for me, it's about him as a person, really, of knowing him and getting to know him and feeling his support, learning off him what it took to play for Manchester United, what it meant, how you behaved, how you thought, how you approach things. Hugely inspirational. So really mixed emotions, but certainly the celebration side of how inspirational he was and who he was as a person was pretty special.
So many people have spoken. He was a fabric of United, on the pitch, off the pitch. Can you just explain what was it like when you first came to United and you meet somebody of his stature?
I've used the word inspiration. It was inspirational to have something of his, with the aura that he had, really, and that in his presence, just to be in his presence and feel the level of support from him, just give you so much confidence and belief. And yeah, it's hard, you know. It's just so much energy and positive energy and a sense of achievement just being here at the club. And listening to him and telling you things and helping you. And as I said, a lot of it was to do with rubbing off on how to act, how to behave, how to think, to play for a club like Manchester United, you know. And that helped me an awful lot. Come from the North East as well, and we had a little bit in common. And I wasn't as good as him, and I never would be. But so yeah, it's a sad day in many ways, but it's certainly a celebration. It's important to remember him for the person he was.
Some great memories there of a great man. Up Dorset here, who's of course been alongside me as well and chatting to a lot of those who were in the service today. It was quite a special feeling to be here today to say goodbye to one of the legends of not just Manchester United but England and the world of football.
I think you're absolutely right, and what will stay with me from today's occasion, Hayley, is the guest list.
Yes.
To get the heir to the throne, the next in line to the throne, the future King of England. All right, he's president of the FA, but Prince William was here. You've got the president of UEFA, Alexander Ferguson, who came over especially for this event. You've got the England manager. You've got Sir Alex Ferguson, Manchester United legend, who was of course here with David Gill behind him. But Gareth Southgate and Steve Holland, his assistant, were here as well. They delayed the meeting up of the England squad. The players were supposed to sign up at St George's Park this morning, but they delayed it until this afternoon because Gareth wanted to be here, Steve Holland wanted to be here, so many of the Manchester United contingent with the England squad wanted to be here. The likes of Harry Maguire there. Luke Shaw's injured at the moment, so he's not involved. But all of these people wanted to be here. Huge names in the football world that wanted to be here to pay their respects and say goodbye to Sir Bobby Charlton. And there's Alexander Ferguson. Look, and everybody we've heard from today has said the same thing. That he will be remembered for his football, of course he will. That he touched so many people's lives, so many football supporters, whether they were Manchester United fans or England fans, just by his sheer audacity with the ball and his ability on the football pitch. But everybody we've spoken to today has spoken about that, and they've spoken about what a nice man he was, how he had time for everybody, how he was humble in everything he did. He didn't play the superstar, he didn't play the hero. He was a normal man from the northeast of England who made it huge and went on to become the icon and the legend that he is, but in a very, very human and humble way. It's been an extraordinary occasion, and seeing all of the people line up to pay their respects today, it will stay with me for a long time, I have to say.
Yeah, it certainly will. And when you look at those legends from the past, that take you back to, you know, members of the 1968 team having a chat with Paddy Crerand, of course, and Alex Stepney, who was in goal and was just behind him lifting that European trophy in 1968 after going through the horrific Munich air disaster as well, and coming through that and doing what he did as a member of the Busby Babes under Sir Matt Busby, going on to achieve what he did and winning the World Cup as well, and then seeing the influence that he had on the future generations. We've seen some of the class of 92 there, and then Peter Schmeichel as well. You've got the treble winning side of 1999, and yeah, Manchester United might not be doing particularly brilliantly at the moment, but I'm sure their day will come again, and he still loved watching them no matter whether they had the highs or the lows, and he stuck by them, and he very much made sure that the players that were present at the time very much knew about the past of his time.
He almost started it, didn't he? He started the great era of Manchester United. I don't think it's too much of an exaggeration to say that, because, of course, with the tragedy of Munich in 1958, there was huge question marks over the future of Manchester United, not just as a squad, but as a football club. Where did they go from that? How did they recover from that when 23 people died in that air crash? And Sir Bobby Charlton became the symbol of that rebirth, didn't he? And so when they won the European Cup with him as captain in 1968, it felt like that was the moment where it had all culminated, and he was leading that journey in terms of response. Of course, he'd won the World Cup a couple of years before that as well, and that was a poignant moment for me today, because, of course, there's only Sir Geoff Hurst that remains now from that 1966 England World Cup winning squad. So the passing of Sir Bobby is another reminder that that is now a very long time ago. And we saw the current England manager, Gareth Southgate, and he refers to it. He refers to the 1966 World Cup winning side and says, look, that's our inspiration. That's what we need to try and do again. So all of that was in evidence today. And everybody was happy to talk about it. But what I thought was significant was the tone as well that everybody was taking. It wasn't as solemn as I thought it might be. It was actually quite a joyous occasion. There was a lot of happy faces, a lot of people sharing nice stories and memories of Sir Bobby Charlton, and that made for a really special occasion.
Yeah, and the more those stories are talked about, the more, of course, he will never be forgotten, and I'm sure he absolutely won't, and remembered by those who loved him, those who got to play alongside him, those that watched him, who turned out in their thousands today lining the streets, and those of us lucky enough to be here part of an occasion, albeit solemn, a very special day, saying goodbye to a Manchester United and England legend. But from myself, Rob, and the team for now, that's it from Manchester Cathedral. It's the lights go down slightly, and just really stepping back and thinking about the legend and what he gave football.